Hello everyone, welcome back to Chef Reviews Zombies Critique. And today we're talking about Buried. Now, to be completely honest, this is my least favorite map in Black Ops 2. Again, I mean, it's not awful. It's just, I think it's a cool setting and whatnot. But I don't know. It's not my favorite. But yeah, we'll do what we usually do. Pros, cons, rating, overall review, and recommendation. So let's get into it. A couple pros about this map are Leroy being one of the big ones. He is dope. He breaks down all these barricades. That one you don't even have to get, but I just kind of do it for the extra points. Because every time he does run and break down a barricade, you get some points for it. The further away he is, the more points you get. He has candy too. With the alcohol, he just runs forward until he hits something. With the candy, he can do one of two things. You can either have him hit the box, and what that'll do is it gets rid of the teddy bear, or you can just kind of give it to him, and at that point he goes on a wild rampage and just wipes out every zombie in his path, he's punting them. And I've seen him pick up a crawler and cradle it like a baby, and then you knife him and he punts it. It's so good. It's funny. Map design, not too bad. Definitely all Black Ops 2 maps stand out, but it does. It keeps with that trend of standing out, you know what I mean? I don't think there's really another map like this one. With some maps you can down the line, there's some similar ones, with Shino Numa, you have Zetsubao. I know there's more examples that I'm forgetting, but, not a bad layout, pretty cool. The Easter eggs, okay. I didn't do it, obviously, in this video, but it does split into two ways, and you can either take Richtofen's side or Maxis' side, and just things change depending on what you do. If you pick Richtofen, he puts his soul into Sam or Stuhlinger, and Stu's eyes glow, and you're kind of just playing as Richtofen at that point, which is cool. I don't remember what Maxis' does, but yeah. Wall weapons and perk locations. Perk locations are pretty close together. It's not terrible, not too bad. Double tap is in the witch house. That's another thing, but we'll talk about. That's kind of like an in-between pro and con, so we'll talk about that one after the cons. Everything else is pretty much super easy to get to, super accessible, especially if you get the paralyzer like I did, and you can jump 15 feet. Buildables. This is the first time, actually, during this game. This was the first game I had where I really built all of them and tried just to see what they really all do, and they're pretty cool. You have your trample steam from Die Rise and your turbine from Transit, but there's also two more. There is a subwoofer, resonator, something like that, and it's kind of like a thunder gun, but you have to have the turbine behind it for it to work. And then you have the lance, I think it's called, and you put that on, or the head cutter, you put that on a wall, and it just randomly goes off and decapitates zombies. They both have okay lifespans. They lasted about 2 rounds in the higher rounds for me. Well, high rounds being 15, 16. And then they just kind of explode and you go get another one. So it's not the end of the world if they break. The only downside to them is you don't get points for the zombies that they kill. Which, I mean, understandably so, I guess. But even if they gave pity points, you can see me using the subwoofer right here, and it just launches them. The only downside too, and I mean obviously I guess this makes sense, but the subwoofer and the head cutter can both do damage to you. Head chopper, there it is. They both do damage to you. This part, I had no idea why that thing was going off, and then I realized I'd left the turbine upstairs. Oh yeah, and wall weapons, so it's kind of up to you for the most part. There's a couple static ones like the M14, the Olympia, the MP5, but the AK-74U, the PDW, SVU, Galvan Knuckles, and AN-94, it is totally up to you where they go because they're little chalk that you pick up and put on the walls. Okay. Cons, I don't know, I feel like more than any other map, in this one just, it feels like it gets repetitive very quickly. Because it's not like a huge map, but it's also not like a tiny map. And I feel like it gets repetitive in a weird way, though. Not like a challenge map does, or like steps to Easter eggs do. It's just weirdly repetitive, and I can't really think of another word or another way to describe it. But I'm sure if you've played a ton of Buried, you know what I'm getting at. But yeah, and then yeah, that's really it for cons. It's really not for me. I don't know what it is. It might just be because I have a buddy, and every time we hang out, this is the only map he wants to play. And so the amount of Buried that I have played is ridiculous. Now the pro con of the witches. So pros, if you wait a couple rounds, go through there, take them all out, then you get a free perk. Con, if they grab you, they take 2,000 points, which adds up quickly, especially if you have like an LMG and you're reloading, or they back you in a corner somehow. And once all your points are gone, they just start taking health. And it's weird how quick they are once they gang up. Like, yeah, it's nutty. But, you know, I guess I can't devalue the whole map just because of that. So for a rating, I think I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. No, you know what? I'll be nicer than that. I'll give it a 7 out of 10. I don't think it's terrible. It's not my favorite. And if it is your favorite, that's totally fine. Like, I'm not going to, like, if you say it's your favorite in the comments, I'm not going to, like, block you from the channel. Like, I totally get that. But yeah, and you know what? If you haven't played it in a while, it can be cool to go in and mess around with the buildables. But other than that, I don't know. I feel like it gets repetitive. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed. Hope you're having a good day. If you're watching early on, have a good rest of your day. See you in the next one, and until then, keep surviving. And kind of crazy to think we're almost done with BO2 zombies. So, see ya.